everybody. Welcome to the Used Up Pens podcast. I'm your host, Tristen. Per usual, we have the parents.
Yeah, hey.
Hi.
Yeah, hey. Today, we're going to be talking about taking care of yourself as a parent. Maybe go over some tips, talk about why it's important, talk about what it can look like, what it has looked like in the past and the present for the parents. So let's get started. Maybe let's start with why it's important.
Well, I think it's important because you've got to have some like decompressing time. I mean, for me, it was always like, okay, this is time where I don't have to communicate with anybody else necessarily, or just kind of doing something to detach from the situation for a little bit. Just to kind of rejuvenate a little bit.
I think it's important to note too, not to get too into personality stuff, but I would say you are an introvert.
Yes.
And Dad, you're an extrovert.
Yes.
I am a closet introvert, actually. I've decided.
Okay, me
Only
too.
with
I'm
age.
both.
Yeah.
Only with age, though.
Only with age.
I am
say
like
you've always-
right in the middle of introvert and extrovert. I think it's my hypersensitivity that makes me introverted. But I like being around I get energy from being around other people. I just can't have it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's why, like, I think it's why, like on Sundays, you know, I often have to come home, and then it's like, because when you're on in a group of people, then it just really takes it out of me anymore. But I was thinking about a metaphor, I guess. Is that I don't know if that's the right word or not, but for why you need to have some me time. And I just had this flashback of the marathon. Like every so many miles, they give you drinks and
an orange
slices, which there's no better taste than when you're 15 miles into a marathon and they get you that orange slice. It is the best thing ever. Anyway, there's a reason that they do that, because when you expend energy, you have to replenish that energy.
Yeah.
So you have, and it's the same thing. You're raising children is difficult. Raising a child with extra needs is just, it's extra. Yeah. And so you have to replenish that energy somehow, or it's going to be bad for everybody. You know, you as a parent, you fall off. That it doesn't just affect you; it affects your spouse, it affects your kids, and I think that's probably why, families with special needs kids have a huge divorce rate, and it's really tough.
Yeah. Oh. I think sometimes people will think, I don't do anything for self-care or whatever, but if they actually broke down their day, they do. You know, like they may just take a time out and go watch a show on their own for 30 minutes or something. I mean, they may not see that as...
Yeah. Or they dive into social media.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's an hour, and then they're like, well, I don't do any self-care, but you just
detached for a little bit.
Yeah, you detached. Yeah, that's a good way to say that.
And that too, I think social media is, which we don't have to get too into this, but like it's such an easy thing for people to do. Anybody can have access to it, relatively. And so it's like, your kids just went to bed, you sit down on the couch and you're scrolling. But and you think that's what you want to do, but maybe it's not, because you're just doing it because of convenience. You're not doing it because your body needs it, or like your brain needs it.
You don't recognize that as decompressing time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is probably a danger, because what you really need is that time to
away
decompress
from
and rejuvenate, and scrolling social media is probably not
the
thing to do. Like it typically makes us more anxious, probably.
Yeah.
Feeds that, but
I really I've analyzed myself a lot. And if I'm on my phone, literally just like, what's it called? Mindless scrolling or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Mind numbing thing.
Yeah. And then I realize I'm doing it and I get off. I feel really, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Like in myself. But if I read, like I try to read quite a bit. And if I read, I'm like, okay, yeah. Like I feel good. I like what I was doing. I was like involved in something else and not my life. And I even noticed that too. I was reading nonfiction for a long time, and I really, really like nonfiction. I didn't think I liked fiction, but I don't remember what was going on. It might have been like COVID or something. And I was reading nonfiction, and I'm like, life is so hectic right now and like chaotic, and nobody knows what's going to happen. Why am I filling my brain with Kim Jong-un information? Like,
right.
Why do I care about North Korea right now? I need to like not think about that. Like I need to go somewhere else that's not real life.
Yeah. Well, I think that, you talked about personality before.
Yeah.
And I really struggle with fiction, nonfiction. And reading for me is not always relaxing because I feel like, for some reason, I feel like when I read something, I have to be taking notes.
Yeah.
Underlining.
That's how I feel with podcasts.
Like learning things.
Yeah, that's how I
and
feel
it's
with podcasts.
really a struggle for me. So it almost creates more anxiety for me. Mm-hmm. Like I had kind of an internal thing this year of I want to read, maybe I want to try and read a book a month. And I have several books already that I need, like I need to read. I want to read.
But you'd never read for pleasure. I mean, you never read like fiction just for the story.
I back in the day, I read the Meg series. You and Trevor got started.
And
you got
what's
started
that
on it.
one? It's like a Christian. It's like a bunch of books long.
Oh,
you guys had it in the room.
Into the Piercing the Darkness or whatever.
No, it was the the Cameron
hit.
No, I never read those.
Left
Behind
series.
Oh, Left
That's
Behind.
what it was.
Yeah.
I kept thinking Taken, and I'm like, this is not Liam Neeson. We're not.
No, I never read those because
I read through those.
Because I knew so many Christian people who read them like they were textbooks.
Oh.
And they're not. They are fiction.
You should read Redeeming Love, Dad.
With some nonfiction parts to them.
I don't think he'd care about it.
Really?
Yeah. So I avoided the Tim LaHaye stuff because too many people got caught up in it. But
anyway,
and I read it just as a story.
Yeah.
Like I just read it like fiction.
Yeah.
And enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But the key is, I think, in all of this is you've got to figure out what it is with you and your personality
that you get life from.
Yes, that allows you to kind of fill up. And so maybe that's well, I mean, everybody always says things like, oh, like a spa day or a vacation or a dinner date or whatever. But I remember there were plenty of years when we were younger when we simply had no money to go out on a date. And it was difficult. I mean, we had to try and find some things that didn't cost us much. I remember your parents always told us that story of going to the airport and rolling pennies down the
ramp.
That was their date night. We always thought that was ridiculous, but we did a few things where like we went and did something just to kind of get away, and that was few and far between back then. But
was there something that you did when Trent was little that you didn't have to leave home for? Something
that I did was I went to the Y.
And
I had a membership, so I didn't. I mean, we got a Y membership as soon as it was built, and I remember the cards.
Well, I think
we got,
that was
TJ was a baby, so your whole lives we had a Y membership.
But doesn't that because you were working for them? I mean,
I didn't work for the Y.
No, not the Y. Not the Y.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't remember.
That Y membership was taken out of my
paycheck.
Your paycheck at the school.
I wasn't working yet when we joined.
Oh,
when
really?
we joined, TJ was a baby because we had those cards made.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Tristen,
holding him.
Yeah.
So that would have been 5 years before I started working. 4 years, maybe.
Which that would have been a huge amount of money for us back then.
I know.
We probably got the economic
thing was,
whatever thing that the Y offers.
We had kids who took swimming lessons.
Yeah.
Tristen was
did
in gymnastics. I mean, it paid for itself.
Yeah.
It really saved us money when we were, considering all those things.
I did gymnastics for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I would go to the Y early in the morning before anybody was awake. And I really got in a routine of that for a lot of years. Like most of the years you were growing up, I think I did that.
Yeah, I remember.
And that was kind of like a place where, I knew a few people who went the same time I did, and mostly much older people.
All the old men hit on her at the Y at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Morgan.
Yeah, right. Judge Morgan. And so that was kind of my, I guess, self-care or thing that I did that was away from the family until I went to school in Emporia. Then that was a whole nother thing.
That was a whole other thing.
Yeah, well, even going to school in Emporia, you had to drive there like a certain amount of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, during that EDS program, I would drive there 2 or 3 times a week, and people would always say, "Oh, how terrible! You have to drive an hour there," and that was actually
I was about to say
that was my time. I mean, during the beginning of that time, my grandma was still alive, and I would talk to her on the phone, but I really tried not to talk to people on the phone because it was just like, sometimes I didn't even turn on the radio.
Yeah.
It was just like peaceful driving through the Flint Hills.
There were a couple days a week that you finished at the school and drove right to Emporia.
Yes.
And then you didn't get home until late.
Anyway, I did have times where I could detach for a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good to note too, because I've struggled with this. Because I feel like I listen to a lot of educational podcasts or like finance podcasts. I like to consume education in that way. And I noticed
you've grown into this because this was not the way you were back in the day.
I know. Yeah, you're talking to the girl who in 6th grade, I was the only one in my whole 6th grade that didn't level up in their reading that year. I was literally sitting by myself on the bleachers and everyone else. I'm like,
I hate to read.
Yeah.
Like on the verge of tears. I'm like,
I remember. Funny. Yeah. It's terrible.
Aww.
Anyway, I love to read now. I read 20 books last year and I'm very proud of myself.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's almost 2 a month.
How many were about North Korea?
I don't think I read an entire book about North Korea. There's one that's really, it doesn't matter. Okay. It's important to note, that's what I'm trying to say, that because it was just automatic for me to like get in the car and play one of my podcasts. Mm-hmm. And so I would be like constantly consuming, and then I would get to work and then I would have to consume whatever I was doing at work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I would get in the car and I would continue. And then I would just be like, why do I feel so exhausted? Like, why is this so hard? And so I changed to listen to like a comedian podcast. So I listened to like a fun.
So you were still getting your podcasts in.
I was still, yeah. I got to clock those podcasts, but it's literally, it's like, it's so dumb. Like, it's like random people calling in for advice that doesn't really matter. It's just like, and it's funny, and I don't have to learn anything from it.
Right. You're not trying to pick up ideas.
Yeah. Or like trying to remember something. And that helped a lot. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying
that's so funny you say that, because I just yesterday was looking up, because I do the same thing. I get in the car and I'm like, what podcast am I going to listen to? Yeah. And I was flipping through the ones that were like, next up or whatever. And I was thinking to myself, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to that or that or that or that. And then I'm like, I could totally make this anything I want it to be. Like, there's so many more podcasts.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to take some of these out and find something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm saying, like, even though I really like those podcasts I was listening to, that wasn't the time for it. Like, you have to find the time for it, because just changing that little thing, or like listening to a fiction audiobook, or like something,
or the radio,
or
imagine that.
I've beef with radio. But like instrumental Spotify playlists, or like literally a CD. I can get down with a CD. Anyway.
Do they even make CDs anymore?
I don't know, but I have some in my car. My phone was dead, so I couldn't, and I didn't have a charger in it. And I'm like, haha, I have CDs. So anyway, yeah, I'm saying, like, don't be afraid to mix it up.
Everybody knows Trent is a fantastic artist, but did you know that he has a store full of all kinds of cool stuff featuring his art? Things like short sleeve t-shirts,
long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts,
and hoodies, along with coloring books, and Trent's illustrated book, Drawn to Be You. Insulated tumblers, 3 different styles.
Insulated wine tumblers, 2 different colors.
And a camper mug in 3 different colors.
With the moose kissing a goose.
During the year, we have special gift boxes. We've got surprise box for birthday or special occasion, and several limited edition coloring books every year.
Drawings by Trent is a business that is providing for Trent's future. The business is also helping Trent's art and message reach people all over the world. So check it out at drawingsbytrent.com. That's drawingsbytrent.com.
I wonder if I remember when we were younger and flat broke all the time, felt like. I remember often thinking about, I feel like that was when people were just beginning to talk about the importance of taking care of yourself and finding something to do. And I remember going to like preacher things or hearing guys say, you're expending energy on people or whatever. You got to find a way to, what fills you back up and that kind of thing. And like, so I've got these friends and they're into like guns and going out and shooting. And I thought that's really fun. I would enjoy that. And then I'm like, I can't afford a gun.
Yeah.
Or let alone, I know guys with like multiple gun cases full of guns, and ammo and whatever. And they just go out and shoot for fun. And I'm like, that would be fun. I don't have the money for that. How am I gonna? And then there were things like, maybe you can even build models. When we were younger, you could buy the little plastic car models and stuff you could put together, Lego, whatever.
Yeah.
But even that causes me anxiety because I'm I want to finish it.
Yeah.
So if I get one of those and I start it, I can't just walk away from it. I gotta.
That's how I feel about puzzles sometimes.
Yeah. You gotta just do it.
In.
Or like if you buy, like I remember when we were younger and we bought like entertainment center thing, from Walmart or something we had to put together. I would be up for hours working like half the night up working because I had to finish it.
Yeah.
I had to get it done. And I've gotten better at that. I think that rocking chair we just got for the baby and it sat there for a few days. I didn't even open the box till
and Easton
it was time to do
put
it.
the other two together, so you didn't even have to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying there are all kinds of challenges, and different stages of your life where there are different things. And again, it's a lot about personality. And so I felt a lot of pressure to be like everybody else and have a hobby and do these things. But really, I decompress, I think, a couple ways. just putting my feet up on the chair and watching sitcom or something, or watching The Office.
A big one is the bath.
Yeah. Lately that's been.
Well, and not just lately. You've always been one to go take a bath, and not just a bath, but a really long
Oh, yeah.
Like
almost like too long.
Yeah.
And let me just say, bathtubs are not built for 6'3", 260-pound guys. So sometimes I'm in there a while, and it's not good. You know, hard to get out of the bathtub when you're cramping up because you've been in there too long.
And your water's cold.
Anyway, let's not talk about baths anymore.
But I'm not a bath person. That is not.
Okay, but here's my question: do you read in the bath?
I play.
Watch this TV.
Well, sometimes.
How do you watch?
Sometimes
TV
I
in
set
the
my
bathroom?
iPad in there and I'll watch a show,
Yeah.
or I'll play. I'll scroll social media. I'll respond to we get hundreds and thousands of direct messages on the social accounts, so I scroll those and respond to them and
now people are like going to message you.
delete a lot of them.
And they're gonna know that you're naked in the bathtub responding to them.
You're gonna respond. They're gonna be like, "Are you taking a bath now?"
Somebody do that, please.
Okay.
That's so funny.
Thanks, Andrea, for bringing all of that up.
Maybe it helps someone. Dad.
I play my solitaire game on the phone.
Oh.
I do that as well. All right, let's get off that. The other thing I've found I enjoy doing is just getting in the pool, like floating in the pool. I really enjoy.
So it sounds like you need sensory.
He likes
input.
water.
Just laying there. Well, I like to just get on the floaty thing in the pool and just stare up at the sky.
And I don't, because it
Well,
makes
yeah,
me
but
just
dizzy.
put
I
some
like
radio on.
your
and
body's unsteady. Balance is part of sensory. The feel of
That's
the water.
the difference in temperatures between when you're outside and you get hot and then you get in the cool water. That's fantastic. Unless you're Andrea and you have to have pool water at like 900 degrees.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I don't understand. Like, pool is supposed to be refreshing, and she wants it to be whatever the temperature is outside. That's what she wants the pool water.
You know what? I really hate when you're only warm when you're in the water outside. Like if it's cool and you get in the water and then you stand up and you're like,
and you're warm. Yeah. And you're cold.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awful.
I just hate being cold so much. I mean, like it's cold in my bones. I can't. And cold water is even worse because
she's very sensitive.
Like,
she's very sensitive.
Yeah.
She's a delicate genius. Anyway, what were we talking about? Like you gotta find the thing. And sometimes it's little things, and you just gotta take what you can get when you can get it, and you gotta have a mentality of like, even it like there you can go through long periods of time where you don't get any. Like we went through periods where nobody watched Trent. We were just strung out from all of that.
We still had two of us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when the struggle comes in, I think, is when it's a single parent.
Yeah.
And, you know, we know what that's like to have a child with some pretty significant needs. But even for people who don't have kids with special needs, those parents still need a break. They still need to find a way to detach and keep their sanity and that type of thing. But I really feel for the single parents, but you can find little ways to do that. And I feel bad saying that because I have never lived it.
Yeah.
But
I think this is from a podcast I listened to. They were saying like, if you get that time, let's say like all the kids are in bed and you have like 30 minutes or whatever, an hour. And it's like, okay, I know I need to do something for myself, but I have no idea what to do. And then that's when you just like scroll on your phone because it's convenient. But they were saying to like make and I don't remember who it was, but
it wasn't Tadashi. She's the one you like to throw out all the time.
Tadashi is a rapper.
Sorry, what? Who is it? Adachi. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think it was Liz Moody from the Liz Moody podcast. But they were saying, one of her guests, though, to like start a notes on your phone or even like paper or whatever. And if you think of something that you want to try, or like, let's say like one of your kids is taking a bath and you're like, oh, it'd be really nice to take a bath. Then like write it on your little like self-care notes. Mm-hmm. And then that way when you do have the time, you don't have to make a decision of like, think. Yeah.
You can just look at your notes and go down the list or whatever.
You can just pick something like, oh, I wanted to read this exact book, or I wanted to, take a bath, or I wanted to, I don't know, do a heating pad on my shoulders. Yeah.
I think one thing that people should try, and it's hard to do, but like if you're going to sit and watch a movie or TV, leave your phone in another room.
Yeah.
And just don't even have it in the room, because even if you like, I'm not going to look at my phone.
Oh, you still
you can't help but look at it. I mean, it buzzes, you look at it. You want to know what time it is, you look at it, and there may be other things there to see, and it's a constant distraction.
Well, and you get that. I don't know what it is. It's really annoying to me, but I'll be watching a show that I enjoy or a movie that I enjoy, and I'll have this incredible urge to just pick up my phone and play my solitaire game. Like I need to have two things going on. I do not need to have two things going on.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's something really, really weird. Like we get a lot of people who think that because of Trent's social media following, life must just be really amazing and perfect for us. Mm-hmm. Like everything must just like, but the fact of the matter is, like, his store and all the stuff that we do has taken over our home. I told Andrea a few weeks ago that I said, this is our house. It's still our house, but it's not our home anymore, because everywhere you go in the house is business stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't get away from it. There's no like a relaxing spot to just go and not see product or things or stuff. It's just overtaken everything. And so I have found in the last 6 months or so, like everybody will go to bed and I will just be up downstairs and I don't know what I need or what I want. And I end up just staying up late.
Yeah.
Just like we mentioned, but like numbing out. Mm-hmm. And it's just mindless things. I'll have a show going. I'll scroll. I'll respond. I'll play solitaire or whatever.
You were going to pick up video games. Did that not work out for you?
And then I did play some Halo, and it has been better. This, like, Trevor brought his, what game is that? Xbox One. It's an old Xbox. He brought it, and he has an old Halo game, and so I've been kind of playing that. But it's been different because lately, like the last few weeks since he was here, you've been staying up really late.
I know, that's stupid.
And
I don't know why
and so we've been kind of going to bed about the same time, and it's
sorry,
it's just different.
I'm intruding on your video.
No. It's just different, and it it changes. Like things change, and so I don't know, but chaos in the house, it affects you.
Yeah. I've also noticed at your house, doesn't really matter, but it used to feel like chill and relaxing and like, I don't know, vibey downstairs.
Yeah.
But I don't get that downstairs anymore.
No.
I get it more when I'm upstairs. Because if you're in the dining room or the kitchen, it's not, except for the hot chocolate stuff. But
all over the place. Yeah.
But like I could drink that. If
and
I
the stack of boxes of products in the corner in the living room.
Yeah, but it's not like,
it's not obtrusive like it is downstairs.
Yes.
It's everywhere, which is irritating because downstairs was supposed to be, the man cave, like TV watching, had all our cowboy stuff around.
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys, not the real one.
Yeah.
I think, though, I don't know if you're noticing, but there are not boxes.
Oh, they've done a good job
right now. Christy's done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's about to flood. The flood's coming.
Yeah. It's getting ready
because we're getting a lot.
We've got so many more
this
things.
Spring, we've got several products coming in, but right now, I mean, you still see shirts in bins when you're sitting there watching TV.
Yeah.
But
by the way, you'll have to come into my office tomorrow.
You'll have to come to my office tomorrow
because the Jason Witten
Yeah.
poster that you guys bought me.
I saw it wasn't in the house.
I brought it.
You did?
Took it to the office and hung it up.
Yeah.
And then the one that that the guy sent us, we're gonna have that
That
framed.
Jason Witten signed, right?
Yeah, I mean, both Jason Witten signed both of them. Both of them have his
I know,
signature,
but
Jason Witten signed it to us.
Yeah.
On the poster.
I think the one we got you to was like a etch, like a laser etched of his signature.
Well, his signature isn't on the poster. It's
right. That's what I'm saying.
It's a tag or something, but I mean, it's still really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's still awesome. But you guys got that for me.
Yeah.
So I took it to my office and hung it up. And the other one that came was kind of for Drawings by Trent for the family. I mean, he wrote it to the Landreth family.
Mm-hmm. No limits.
So
no limits.
So which Jason Witten is our favorite player. So if Jason Witten happens to listen to it or somebody knows Jason Witten, we're all in, except for Easton, but he's not on the podcast, so we don't care. Yeah, my team's just about to play in the AFC Championship. Whatever, we're not talking about that. Maybe won a Super Bowl by this point.
And if they didn't, you'll be very, very sad. Anyway.
What are we talking about?
We're about wrapped up.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that making a list is a really good idea because I've done that with other things too. Like I got to remember to do this.
Yeah.
You know? And
when you have an extra minute, you're like, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can just look on the list. Yeah.
Lists are great.
Lists are great.
If you're a list person, if you're not a list person, hello. This causes me more anxiety to have to make a list of things.
Oh, that's just sad.
Well, I don't have a tip for you.
Sorry. We're not all the same person.
I'm very aware of that. Okay, cool. Any last words? Any last self-care tips or taking care of yourself?
Well, I think that finding your people that we talked about before, finding your support, I think that ties in with it a lot. You know, if you have a chance for your special needs child or all of your children to spend some time with somebody else, that's your chance, and take advantage of those moments. Because I know there's a lot of times that like Trent's gone and I'm just doing stuff I'd normally do when he's there. And sometimes I think, well, we should go, like going to the movie the other day. I thought, this is our chance to go to a movie.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
so taking advantage of that time.
I would say, like, don't just do what everybody else says you ought to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's different for everybody, and your situation isn't everybody else's situation. And so you have to find what works for you. And sometimes you have to work a little bit on the front end to figure out what that is. But then once you do, then that's good.
You mean making the list?
It's going to change, though. Like, you know, over time, it's going to change. You get older, it's going to change. And maybe like if you're in the thick of it right now and your kids are young and it's hard and you really, I mean, I remember thinking this is never going to end.
Oh yeah.
And this may kill me. We're people of faith, and I remember praying like, God, I cannot handle this.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't tell me that stuff when I was 8.
And we did, you know, obviously we did handle it 33 years later. And so like it will get better. And maybe the situation won't get better. You know, I mean, we know plenty of people whose kids are going to be hard. But it will change, and your situation will change, and other things will change, and doors will open up, and you just got to be ready to take that step or do that thing, and check your list, whatever.
It's a good idea, Dad. I was thinking too, this just popped into my head, but because you had said that you called your grandma when you were driving. And I think that's a good point, if you are like extroverted and you need other people to help you feel energized or, you know, filled up, then choose those people wisely too that you're talking to, because
Good
sometimes, you can choose a person and then like they won't shut up, and then you're just like on the phone, and then it's not helpful for you. So
Right.
And don't be afraid to change that person if you need to. The person you call.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not change them, but
No, not
change who it is that you call.
Change who you're calling. Yeah. Anyway, okay, cool. I think I liked that episode. That was fun. Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks for listening.
This has been a new episode of Used Up Pins. Thank you so much for listening. New episodes drop every other Wednesday. Make sure to check out our Patreon, where we have exclusive merch, exclusive items, and Trent drawings. A bunch more content, as well as ad-free episodes, and then also a couple extra podcasts. If you like listening to our podcast, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure to rate and review us, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to podcasts. And then lastly, make sure to check out our store for all of Trent's art, and a bunch of other merch that all has Trent's art on it. So thank you so much for supporting the Trent family, the Landreth family, and see you next time.